Hey guys, here's another restaurant classic, San Francisco restaurant classic dish that's been around since the 1920s, so it could be almost 100 years old if it isn't already. Joe's Special. And Joe's an old Italian restaurant in San Francisco. I think the original Joe's is closed, but they, at least when I was a kid, they branched out. There was a Westlake Joe's, a Novato Joe's, a Marin Joe's. I remember going to the Westlake Joe's a lot when I was a kid. I don't know if they're still there. I should probably look it up online, but this was the worst thing my mom ever cooked for us. If I came home from school and asked her what was for dinner and she would say Joe's Special, it would just ruin the entire rest of my day, because I knew I would be sitting at the table till 8 or 9 o'clock in the dark, all by myself, unless my dad came out and gave me a break, or I couldn't manage to smuggle it in my napkin to the toilet or something. I absolutely hated this. It was so gross. And it wasn't just the fact that it's ground beef and scrambled egg. The original recipe has spinach in it, and I hated cooked spinach. I absolutely hated it. Everything about this was gross. And not too long ago, I thought about it. I thought about veganizing it with the Beyond beef, and at the time I veganized it, I was using the vegan egg. This time I used the Just Egg. And I used arugula instead of spinach because I like arugula. So, it's a pretty big detour from the original, but it's vegan anyway. It's got, plant beef and plant egg, so I might as well make it the way I like it. And I like it with arugula. I've also made it with kale. It's also very good with kale. I actually enjoy it. It's so good. I don't know why it's so good when I hated it so bad when I was a kid. But it really is. It's a quick dish. It was a breakfast dish at Joe's. And for 10 cents extra, you could get mushrooms in it. You could have mushrooms added to it. My mom never put mushrooms because my dad hated mushrooms. She didn't care that we hated spinach, but she wouldn't put mushrooms in it. It's basically a scramble. You could make this with tofu if you didn't have access to Just Egg or vegan egg, or you don't want to use those products. You start by chopping some onions and sauteing them just until they turn translucent. There's no browning in this dish. They don't even brown the beef when they make it with beef. They just cook it until it turns gray. Doesn't that sound appetizing? They don't brown it. They just cook it till it turns gray, because it's basically like a quick breakfast dish. So you saute the onions. You chop some garlic and add that. Then you add the Beyond beef and mash it up. And you put a little bit of Worcester. And then you add the your whatever greens you're using. You cook those down. And you season with salt and pepper. And when it's all done, when the greens are to your liking, you pour in the egg. And you cook it until the egg is set. And then at the end, you turn off the heat and you mince a little fresh basil and mix that around in it. And you have a San Francisco treat. This is also, rice-a-roni isn't the only San Francisco treat. This is a San Francisco treat too. This is a big, big deal amongst native San Franciscans. At least it used to be. I don't know if it is so much anymore. But anyway, there you go. Joe's Special, Veganized. The recipe will be on my blog, and I will link it in the description. See you later, guys.